Hi there.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Curious Collection. I'm Will.
I'm Cinnamon.
So we want to talk about the platform WhatNot.
Mm-hmm.
We had the opportunity about 6 months ago, last July.
August, yeah.
Was it August?
I think so.
So a friend of ours sells on the platform, had told us, hey, you guys have this massive store, you're strong sellers, you should really look into live selling on WhatNot. And so we talked about it, and of course, last summer was quite slow for us, and so we decided, hey, let's look into this, let's apply, and let's see about selling on the platform.
Try to diversify, some of our
right.
sales.
So one of the promising things for us is that we didn't want to have all of our eggs in one basket. 99.9% of our sales comes from eBay. And that's a lot of risk, and it's unnecessary risk in this environment where there's so many different platforms to sell on.
Yeah.
So we really did want to diversify away from just one source of income. So we got approved. We had submitted all of the documentation. We had taken a quick video of our inventory. We had talked, on camera. We had talked to the representatives. We got approved.
They do phone interviews.
Right. So we did get approved. They were excited about it, very, very pro WhatNot. And so we set up our store. Within a week, we had our first sale. So we had set up our first show, and we had set up following shows that we had intended to do. I had set up a show for some license plates because license plates I was really heavy into, and it's something that we do relatively well on when we're actively sourcing that category. And then you had done set up a jewelry show with all of the inventory as well.
Yeah.
And we had some other items in the store. So we had put a lot of energy. We had spent about 8 hours prepping out our store, prepping up for the upcoming auctions.
Well, and then I had done the actual store, the sale itself.
Right.
And this was before we had really any, and I'm not saying we're big on YouTube or anything like that, but it was before we had any YouTube followers at all. So I think we were maybe a week into YouTube, because I think we started them kind of right around the same time. So I put 8 hours into photographing and listing and getting the jewelry set up in the inventory system on WhatNot. And then we did the show itself, and that was another 3 hours of just live,
It was a 3-hour show. We had 50 items, lots listed. So we had watched some other creators' content and some other sellers on the platform, and our first impression was that people weren't getting very much for their items, and so we decided to kind of go with lower value bulk lot listings.
Right. So if we're going to, if the people that are buying are sellers, our thought process was, okay, well, let's, do these lots for sellers so that they can get, and we were putting 10 to 20 pieces in a lot, and we were starting the lots at $5. So we're talking about, 50 cents a piece.
Right. Some of the pieces were, as low as 25 cents.
Yeah. I don't know.
So we had done the show. We did 3 giveaways. We spaced them out. So one at the beginning, one at the middle, and one at the end. In an attempt to get some followers and to get some excitement around the show. We never saw more than 7 people in the show the entire time. So that was a little disappointing. At one point, it dropped down to literally 2 people. So that was us and one other person in the show. Our sales, so we had 3 giveaways. Sellers pay for shipping. So that was approximately $12 in shipping for us that we had to pay for. I think we sold 6 lots.
I think it was, something like that.
I think there were 4 buyers total for 6 lots. And so by the time you figure cost of goods, shipping, the free items that we gave away, we basically spent the entire time giving away, like, all of our labor was free.
Right.
And we did not make any money at all. We actually, like, it cost us money because we weren't actively working in our eBay store.
Right. So it was very
disappointing.
It was very
I
disappointing.
had much higher expectations. Now, of course, you're not going to be successful at anything that you do the first time that you do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the definition of success, again, is interpretive. So we're taking, if we had spent 8 hours working on our eBay store, we probably could have listed, 40, 50 items, relatively easily. And that would have monetized into, $300 or something.
Right.
Whereas this was a net loss for us.
And I know that everybody says, like, with WhatNot, your first show is not going to be successful. But how many unsuccessful losses do we have to do before it becomes a non-loss? Like, that's my thing. And
Right.
it is a lot of energy.
Right. So I think there's two different things to unpack. One is, how much energy should we have put into the platform to find out whether it would work for us or not? Was it our product selection? Was it the fact that we were doing lots? Is it the fact that people don't know us and they only want to buy from trusted sellers?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of different things there. But at the end of the day, how much energy do we put into another platform, taking away from the platform that we're already deriving the majority of our income from? And to be very clear, our eBay income is enough to support our household, and we are very comfortable with the amount of money that we make on eBay.
We are. I mean, we've adjusted our lifestyle so that we could be comfortable with the amount of money that we make on eBay. So, we're not balling. We don't have a Lambo in the driveway, but we have chickens. So, that totally makes up for it. But yeah, no. So and again, like, we're kind of incredibly thorough people. So I know that a lot of people, when they do their WhatNots, they're not going through and taking pictures and listing every item, which is what I did, because it, in theory, seemed like the best way to do it. It was, what people, that way you could have people.
It was something that had been suggested to us ahead of time, in that if you want to get the most engagement, if you want to get the most money out of your items, that you should be pphotographing and you should be listing.
Right.
So however,
that people
I have
could
seen,
say, oh, hey, could you take, could you pull lot 21 and run that one? Or, that type of thing.
And we did have that. And then again, there'd be one person that bid on the lot.
Mm-hmm.
So we never had a volleying bid.
Mm-mm.
So literally one bid, the item would sell at the starting price, never volleyed, never went higher than $5.
Right. And the only ones that sold were the items that were severely underpriced, so they would be named pieces, and, they'd be selling in a lot. So, those named pieces are selling for 50 cents a piece. Well, when I go sourcing, I can't find named pieces for less than $2, $3, $4, $5 a piece. So the math just didn't work for me.
Right. So what brought about this conversation? Well, we actually had a representative from WhatNot reach out to us this week. They had sent some emails, they had called us and talked to us, and they wanted to know what our perspective was. And this is exactly what we told them. Mm-hmm. And, obviously they want us to come back to the platform. So we're at a position where I don't know that it's right for our business model. I don't know that it's worth building out a reputation on a platform where the maximum value that we might get is only 25% of the eBay retail. Mm-hmm. Or, maybe we're missing it. And that's kind of why I wanted to do this video today is, are we missing something? Is there something going on here that other sellers on the platform are finding to be a level of success, and we're just completely overlooking the how? Because when we source items, as an example, our input cost is 25% of the eBay retail. Mm-hmm. And that includes shipping and that includes eBay fees. So our cost in is quite high relative to the potential sale. If we were to sell it for 25% of the eBay retail on WhatNot, we're not
That's
making
cost.
any money.
Yeah.
So is it our sourcing? Should we be sourcing at 5% of the eBay retail so that we can sell it at 25% on
But then
WhatNot?
what kind of quality are you going to get if your sourcing is, so minimal? And again, like the thing was that they were the only sales that we were getting were the highest quality items, those glass rhinestones.
And the thing is that you were selling a lot with 5 pieces in it for, $5 maybe, or 10 pieces in it. That one named piece was a $15 to $20 item.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's where I look and go, okay, well, we literally sold for a quarter or less of the retail value. Does it really matter? Is it worth it to us to sell it today at a quarter of the value, or hold it for 3 months and sell it for the full price?
Well, and that's what the gentleman was talking about. That was his draw to WhatNot. He was saying was that you can go through high volumes of sales, and
we had 50 lots. We sold 6.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like high value to me.
Or high volume.
Yeah, or high volume. And I'm okay with sitting on inventory if I'm able to get the top dollar for it. And as far as getting rid of inventory that maybe isn't going to sell, because obviously I pick the highest quality items to put up on eBay. So not all of my inventory is eBay quality. So that was another thing. I was like, okay, well, maybe I can get rid of some of the pieces that are just not high enough quality to list on eBay. Because when I look at my eBay store, like I know that my customers are going to be spending a minimum of $15. So if it's not something that I think is worth $15, I'm not going to list it, just because it's not worth it to my customer.
Right. And part of the consideration that we all as sellers have to take in is that our buyer's not just paying for the cost of the item. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're buying a $2.99 ring, but if you have shipping calculated, they're going to pay up to $4.13 for shipping. And then you're going to pay fees. You're going to pay 15% transaction fees or final value fees, 30 cents on every transaction,
plus promotions.
So again, you're talking about, their cost might be $4.13 plus $2.99 and their local sales tax. So they're around $7.50. But as a seller, you're paying, up to 25% theoretically of that value towards platform fees. So you're not making any money selling a ring at $2.99.
Right.
There's zero margin there.
Plus your input cost, your cost of goods. So again, my kind of thought process is if it's not worth $15 to my customer, then it's just not worth listing, because again, my time and energy and things like that. So I was like, okay, well, maybe those lower value items, again, I can lot them up, throw them in a lot and get rid of those. And maybe, that would work. But like there was crickets on that stuff, even lotting it up in 10 and 20 items and trying to get a $5 start. Like nobody had any interest.
Nothing was broken. It was all in good condition.
Right.
It was just lower value. So what kind of an example would you give for a low value jewelry?
Like there's just like unbranded, so maybe some stretchy bracelets or some unbranded necklaces. I know
we had a whole lot of like
rings,
but they were like real stone.
They were lapis lazuli, and there was Larimar, and and a lot of them were stainless steel. Like I said, like it wasn't that it wasn't garbage inventory. It just isn't something that I would necessarily list online. So, and again, I have modern jewelry is not something that I would necessarily list because it's not what my store is. So if there's something that's maybe more modern, it doesn't fit with the rest of the store because the store is vintage and antique. And I'm concerned that people will see something modern and think that the rest of the items that we have in the store are not the same quality. So, those are things that I wouldn't necessarily list in our eBay store. So those are some things that I would have listed on WhatNot, some things that just more modern pieces that aren't necessarily the same as the vintage.
Mm-hmm. And then another area that we talked about is that are we going to damage our brand by associating with WhatNot, selling on the platform? Because not that WhatNot's a bad brand, not that it's a bad business.
No, but it's the cost that we would be that we would have to get rid of items on WhatNot. Like if we were doing single items at $3 starts, there's no margin for my pretty blue boxes and all of the things that we put into our higher quality items on eBay. Like if I have to spend an additional dollar for the packaging, then again, like what is left that I'm putting my time and energy and into?
Right. So we have shopped the platform, and we actually shopped the platform WhatNot for inventory. We've bought named pieces at $2 a piece.
Yep.
And we've resold them for a profit.
You've gotten quite a few ephemeras.
I've purchased several collections of postcards and automobile ephemera, and I've resold that for a profit. So again, if I understand if you have this massive bulk of inventory and maybe you don't have the time to list it on eBay or another platform, maybe that is the best way to go about it. But I'm struggling because, again, if people are sourcing it, that means you have to be able to get it cheaper than their normal sourcing. And we're sourcing typically in the same way that other resellers are. So we're not getting, truckloads of merchandise.
Right.
We're not buying it by the pallet. We're buying it typically by the tray or by the piece. So I don't know about that. I don't know if maybe that's where we're missing the boat is on the sourcing. So there's so many questions that I have is how on earth do you make this work in a profitable fashion?
Yeah.
Now, I've watched videos from other sellers. They're suggesting that maybe, they're not taking their best quality merchandise. They're taking their discards. They're taking stuff that they would donate and they're selling it on the platform. That doesn't build confidence in me as a buyer, that if I know if I can go there that I'm going to, sit and wait for my lot to come up and then it's going to be discards. It's going to be stained, damaged.
Right. Yeah. I can't.
Not top quality.
I can't purchase something that has missing stones. There's absolutely nothing I can do with that.
Yeah, we were watching yesterday and there was a piece that came up for auction and it had missing stones.
Right. And the earrings, the backs were bent. On a lot of them. So that's just not something. Right. And again, like with
that's
the
something
brand,
that we would throw away.
Yes, we would throw that away. We don't sell damaged items. So, I mean, I'm curious because you do get a lot of people that are on the WhatNot train that are saying, "Oh no, you got to do a shows there. You can get $2,000 in one night," and I'm like, I just don't know how that's possible. So We're very curious. If you guys can put down in the comments, what experiences have you had on WhatNot? Do you have a WhatNot store? Have you done some WhatNot shows? Have you purchased from other people's WhatNot shows? And what was your experience? Were they good quality items or were they things that you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. My concern is that it's an entertainment platform and it's not really about moving inventory.
It's just about buying from that person.
It's about, seeing an entertainer, being entertained, you're engaging through, buying, but it's not really about the merchandise. It's about the entertainment value.
And the chat and, talking with people.
That's my take. And I am a cynical person. I will admit that. So, do you find it to be a legitimate source of inventory? Do you enjoy shopping on the platform? I struggle with it. Like I said, we've bought stuff in the past and I know that, this person has a lot that I want, and I'll wait for it to come up because they'll go in order, and I'll, maybe I'll get the lot that I'm looking for. But it seems like it is a lot of waiting, and I don't know people on the platform. I don't have friends. I don't have contacts. So I'm not sitting in the chat and just talking back and forth with other people in the channel. So, again, maybe that's where I'm missing it, is that I'm not part of that chat generation that, my entertainment is sitting there chatting with people. So, what is it? What am I missing? Just help us out here.
Right.
And ultimately, I want our viewers to give us feedback. Should we be selling on WhatNot, or should we stick with what we're good at and just do our YouTube channel and do our eBay store?
Yeah. So please, 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 like, talk to us. Let us know, what your experiences are, what your thought process is. We genuinely want to hear from you. So please comment down below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But we do want to hear from you. Okay. Thank you so much. Good luck, guys.